maybe getting just a new one on.
Yeah. I mean, I remember I was having a conversation with Chuck about strings because, like, when I grew up, my uncle used to play me lots of old records. I used to kind of sit on his knee and fall asleep on his knee, and he used to play me things like the Kinks and Moody Blues and, you know, all sorts of stuff, Led Zeppelin, these kind of things. But the Moody Blues, I really loved the Moody Blues, and they were very good at strings. You know, they obviously had, you know, good classical arrangers working the strings for them. And then that bit leading into the bagpipes, I just heard those kind of, you know, big sweepy Moody Blues type strings again, and that really suits that. And when it goes back out again into that kind of little tiny kind of more legato bit after the triumphant bit, you know, recording the Undertow, you know, just putting those big sweepy Moody Blues type strings in as well. I think that kind of, because it makes you feel sorrowful.
That technique that you were talking about, the frozen string technique, that really brought a lot to the table as far as the grittiness and that. Yeah. Supporting the grittiness of the song overall, you know, in the strings. It wasn't too clean. It was that frozen string kind of technique. Yeah, I mean, my background, obviously, because I came from a classical background and then got into kind of music and then into studio recording music and then got into dance music, and that experimental dance music thing still lives inside me. So I kind of like any weird technique that anyone in the world is trying to kind of use, I'm always like a bit intrigued by it. But lots of the classical guys in Scandinavia, they do this thing, it's called frozen string. So it's a string technique and it's a recording technique kind of mixed in, and they just sound really like harsh and weird in a Scandinavian way, you know, but very cold, you know. So the frozen string analogy is quite cool, but, you know, with that kind of undertow thing, that, you know, this whole, you know, the ocean and whiskey and drinking and you're lost at sea and you're never going to get found. And, you know, it's that kind of, it needed something cold and detached and lost, you know. So I think those frozen strings, you know, I played the track earlier. It was funny, I dug it out. I mean, what is it, like 4 months ago we worked on it? And I dug it out earlier and had a listen to, because obviously what I'd done quite quickly. And I listened to it today and I was just like, yeah, they're like, you know, they're quite stark and kind of, you know, punches you in the chest and rips your heart out and beats you over the head with it, doesn't it? Which is kind of the point, isn't it, really, of the song?
Yeah,
so.
I think a couple of things on the song, on those bits that jump out, is like those bagpipes, because like the vibrato in the bagpipes is quite deep, that it almost pulls, like in the solo there's like a real like couple of discordant notes that make it really sad. There's like,
that's just an accordion, it just playing two notes. I played that to Chuck, like I just heard, like, it's French, isn't it, basically? You know, the it's kind of a bit, you know.
Yeah, but also with having the bagpipes in D as it comes into the chorus, because the vibrato's large, it almost has a kind of a discordant, flattened feel to it, which most people would always go for a sharp to make it be more, and it goes, it like makes it grittier and dirtier in the way that sound, because it's got quite a large EQ, you know, so far as it takes over a lot of space. So
you mean frequencies, the frequency range?
Yeah.
But
it just waves over the whole thing. Yeah, it's pretty neat.
It was funny when I was listening to it earlier, because I do things and then don't kind of look back, really. It's not my thing, you know. Once I've finished it, I probably never listen to it again. Just kind of move on. But I dug it out again today. I've got it on the thing behind me, and it was really those bagpipes in the vocal bridge, and then the strings that kind of join them together either side, because it's quite a classical string movement that kind of knots it all together and then takes it back out. And you kind of don't notice it in the mix. You know, if you listen to it solo, I probably might plug that bit in here.
Like, but if you listen to them solo, the strings and the bagpipes are the bit that kind of, I suppose, support what your lyric is and what your intent is and what your meaning is. Because music, you hear so much music that's, you know, someone's just sat there and penned it and just gone, yeah, that's great, that'll do, and whatever, and there's no heart in there. You know, loads of modern music's like that. It's McDonald's disposable, isn't it? You know, once you've heard it, you forget it, and then if they just keep banging it into your ears, you'll remember it, but then after another week, you'll forget it. You know, whereas old, great music, you remember it forever, don't you? I mean, Chuck and I had this discussion. You know, that good music is like the soundtrack to your life. It's those songs that hit you deeply and mean something to you. And in 20 years, you'll remember exactly where you were when you first heard it. That's what music should be. And Undertow was that song when I first heard it. I mean, I know you've got a ton more songs, and I know we're talking about working on a lot of different songs, but I think Undertow just struck those kind of really painful chords in my heart, you know, and I think, you know, it deserved that kind of, I suppose, for want of a better phrase, kind of meticulous, kind of almost classical arranging around it. And I know that's not really a country thing, you know, being a Brit and that, but it's what's right for the song, isn't it? You know, the song deserves whatever it takes to make it emotionally what you kind of put into it. So I think.
That might be